And how much money have you collected so far?
We're like $30,000 into the quarter.
And you're running after $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And how much is the party to put up for the candidate?
We don't know yet. They won't do anything till after the primary. You know, a lot of people, and I know James is struggling with this too. Neither one of us has raised a tremendous amount of money, but it's very difficult to raise money in primary.
I'm not, mind me speaking out of people, I'm not sure that money counts this time.
It does count, but you're right, it doesn't count as much this time. It doesn't count as much this time.
Organizing people to actually knock on doors, those things are the important now. And how do you get that done? I'm not sure. You know, a guy like Norm Dixie, he doesn't knock on doors, he doesn't even knock the door. But
Normal people up to him.
so how can you get a campaign going if you don't do what he's saying? And kids have it cost $30-some thousand to send up the mailer, 35,000 or something like that. How are you going to do it if they don't have an organization, whoever's the candidate, getting out and knocking on doors for them? They can't get the votes. So Inslee, if they see that he's going to lose, they're going to put up another million and another million.
Right. But you can't put lipstick on a pig. Not that I didn't mean to call him a pig. But this is not just a strong anti-incumbent year. It's a strong anti-liberal year. And don't let them fool you. It's not just anti-incumbent. It's anti-liberal. And that can be liberal Republican too, like in the state of Utah. How many years was he in there? I don't know, but he was in there a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a Republican, gone because he was a squishy Republican. The Tea Partiers are conservatives, and some of them are former liberals that have seen the light. So, I mean, you're right. A grassroots candidacy has a lot greater possibility now than ever. I mean, I knew Inslee was vulnerable, or I wouldn't be wasting my time doing this. I'd have better things to do in my life, you know? And the chance of someone like James Watkins or myself with no name recognition, a non-politician coming in and winning, would be slim and none 2 years ago.
Even a good politician couldn't win 2 years ago.
Not against incumbent. I mean, incumbents usually win over 90% of the time.
But
As you know.
just look at the elections yesterday.
Yeah, it's different.
Look at that woman that won in Nevada.
Yep.
You know,
Yep,
came out of just served.
Out of nowhere.
yep.
Well, let's
Backed
hope
by
that,
the
And
Yeah.
I have to
that
admit
gets
that
out.
I'm friends with Jerry Tarkanian. Tarkanian's son was one of the ones running in there.
I liked him.
Yeah, he's from Fresno. That's
Is
my
he?
friend.
Wrong, good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about him too. The first first political event I've ever been to in my life was the February of 2009 Porculus rally to protest the stimulus in Seattle, the People's Republic of Seattle, February of 2009.
You mean the communist enclave of Seattle, yeah.
You know, I'd always been interested in politics. I'd followed it, pretty closely since Ronald Reagan, but I never thought I would get involved. Maybe I would get involved after I retire 10, 15, 20 years from now, but things are so dire that things are not gonna
Well,
wait.
that holds true not only for those of you who are running, but for us too.
Totally.
My background's much like yours from interest, but I'm up out of the house and I'm out doing something and I'm meeting all sorts of people that
Yeah.
are saying the exact same thing.
And God bless you, in every group I go to, 9 out of 10 people have never been involved until the last year and a half.
And the guilt, you feel like, gosh, I could have been making a
Exactly,
difference all along. What was I
exactly.
waiting for? You know?
Yeah. So I'm going from 0 to all in.
So I think you have a lot of people that have been in it and that can be mentors, and then a lot that have interest, that are willing to maybe do your doorbelling that you can't. Or
Exactly.
do stuff out there to draw attention to.
Yep.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Where is your wife?
My wife would normally be with me. She is like, we're joined at the hip, and she's a lot better speaker than I am. She spoke at the Seattle Tea Party.
Today?
No.
Oh.
She got in
She
really
spoke
late
at
last
the
night
Tea
from
Party.
Texas. She's from Texas.
Oh.
And she had a nephew that was graduating from high school back there. And then we've got 4 dogs. We couldn't get a dog sitter today, so she was.
How many people were at the last meeting when he talked? Okay. Okay.
And she
You're a
talked
good
to,
You
pair.
missed,
You're both
you're
good.
great.
Yeah.
You missed a lot.
I definitely married up.
Well, I have another question. If you got in, would you answer the specific question that your constituents are asking instead of sending out a canned response?
Honestly, I don't.
Nothing is more irritating
You know,
than
if you get
Patty Murray
thousands,
saying-
if you get thousands and thousands of those, I don't even know if that's possible. Quite honestly, I'll do the best I can. You know, with the staff I have, and try to make things as personalized as I can. But if you think about it, with email now, these people get thousands. They were probably getting millions during the health thing. I wouldn't send that first one. Okay, it's just saying you work so nice. Thank you for
Kind of what has happened.
That's what I mean.
Yes,
Thank you for supporting healthcare.
And you get
And
the
then-
last response, hope all is well in Paulsbo.
Yeah, and then I
always
wrote
want to
back.
write and say, but you should know about Paulsbo. Why are you saying?
Yeah. And then I wrote back and said, well, excuse me, but you really didn't pay any attention to what I wrote. You
And
know?
then you never hear back again.
No, I got the same thing again.
Oh, how do you feel about the Second Amendment?
Second Amendment, same way I do about everything else in the Constitution. It says what it means what it says. You look up what it means, and it means that that's what protects a society from tyranny.
You know, there's one problem that we almost solved at one time, and that is term limits. And that's our problem today, is that you get people like Norm, who used to be a great legislator, and maybe still be a good legislator. But he's so powerful now that how can you afford, as a community with one employer, the federal government, get rid of a guy like Norm? And that's what we got to change, is that we need guys like him to go to Congress to agree to term limits, 2 terms and you're gone. And let someone else that it's intelligent come in.
Well, can I say something on that? It's not just that, but I think that the staff needs to get term limited in Washington DC.
The bureaucrats.
Yeah,
In the county?
because,
That's a good
In the county?
because when the new person comes in, nothing changes if the same people are working under him.
That's why you have to actually eliminate bureaucracy. And no one has been able to do that, including Ronald Reagan.
She's right, because they can't be fired once they're in there. They just
Right.
transfer them around.
You have to eliminate these departments that serve no purpose.
And they're still hiring like you can't
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to know.
possibly
There are 2
fathom.
million federal employees, not counting the 700,000 postal workers.
Right,
Average income's 120 grand a year, including benefits.
right.
Private sector, 60 grand, including benefits. There's a problem when the tax takers make 100% more than the taxpayers.
Well, that's exactly what's going on in Spain, Portugal, and Greece.
Right.
Is
Exactly.
that everybody works for the government, and
Right.
that's where we're headed.
There's only one problem. Where's the money come from?
they don't produce
They
anything.
don't produce anything.
Well,
Suck it out of the
Except-
economy.
Except indigestion.
It's only growth industry, bureaucracy.
Something Matthew said at the beginning really touched me, is you were talking about the Economic Council and that one person has a background in it.
Yeah.
That's something that there should be criteria for any of the committees that you're sitting on, that there's some kind of qualification to be sitting on it.
And you know, I
mean,
understand.
I
Yeah.
was shocked when you just said that.
Yeah. He goes, boy, it'd be really great to have someone on the Financial Services Committee that actually has financial services experience
But
in their life.
how can we have that?
It's like,
How can-
hello, McFly, hello.
It's like
Is anybody home?
Walmart's greeters. They have more of a difficult criteria that they have to
To go
adhere
through.
to
Yeah.
than they do for a government bureaucracy.
And that's what
or
they do.
My son had a
government.
harder time getting into Little League Baseball than to prove your citizenship. He had to show an original birth certificate with a seal on it and everything to play Little League Baseball.
You don't have to do that to get a driver's license. do
I
you?
know.